Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I will be talking about the 7 powerful tips that will make you achieve outstanding success. So last year I came across this book by Darren Hardy called The Compound Effect: Jumpstart Your Income, Your Life, Your Success. I had heard about the compound effect in the past, but mostly in the context of investing and finances. But I had no idea about how actually it could impact your everyday life through the habits that you put in place and what you do in your daily routines. So I was really I absolutely loved this book, and then finally I purchased a physical copy of it to have it by my side so that I can take notes in it, and I have loved this book. So in this video I will be sharing the 7 tips that I have learned from this book, and some of them I have been applying in my life but others not yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to apply them as well. First of all, let's talk about what compound effect actually is. Now, compound effect as defined in this book is small smart choices plus consistency plus time, which equal to radical difference. So it is all about the little choices that you make in your life every single day that compound over time and then give you results that are big, and that can be negative or positive depending on the kind of choices that you have made in your life. Most people overestimate what they can achieve in a year and underestimate what they can achieve in 10 years, by Bill Gates. So this is so true, and this applies to me as a person as well. Every single year when we make our new year resolutions or whenever we set goals, we want to do so much at once, but we don't even know, but we want to do so much at once, and we want to change everything within the next 5 to 6 months. Even that is too much. But in reality, if you concentrate and focus on the longer term and you do little things, little habits that you keep changing over time, but with consistency, it can make a very big shift into your life, and that is extremely important. So as mentioned in this book, the compound effect is predictable and measurable. That's great news. Isn't it comforting to know you only need to take a series of tiny steps consistently over time to radically improve your life? Now let's get started with the 7 tips that I wanted to share with you in this video. Number 1, own your 100%, which of course means take responsibility for your past, present and future, for every single thing, no matter what has happened to you, no matter what you have been, what kind of lifestyle you have been leading until now. Own your 100%. Take responsibility for all of it, because that is the only way that you will be able to take control of the entirety of the process. Because if you keep blaming others or the circumstances or situations and all of that, you will not be able to take responsibility. You will not feel in control of the change that you want to make in your life. Choices are at the root of every one of your results. Each choice starts a behavior that over time becomes a habit. Choose poorly and you just might find yourself back at the drawing board, forced to make new, often harder choices. Don't choose at all and you have actually made the choice to be the passive receiver of whatever comes your way. In essence, you make your choices and then your choices make you. So if today you start taking responsibility for your life, for your choices, and the choices that you make in your life are from your own entire consciousness that come from you, then that is the only way you will be able to change them and make better choices and move towards a better direction. As mentioned in this quote, even if you don't choose, you are actually choosing not to choose. So if you really want to bring a change or you want to do anything positive, it's important to make the choices that you want to make in your life and take and set a direction that you want to go towards. Tip number 2 is have a scorecard. That means tracking your habits. Now, if there is a certain aspect of your life where you are willing to make changes, like for example, for me, these days it is more about the finances. So if I want to make certain changes in my finances and build better habits in that area of my life, it's extremely important that I track every single thing that I do in that particular aspect of my life. So for me, for example, it would mean, what am I spending every single day? Now, how does this work? The first step toward change is awareness. If you want to get from where you are to where you want to be, you have to start by becoming aware of the choices that lead you away from your desired destination. So Once you bring awareness to the aspect of the life that you want to change, every single time that will bring that awareness to your mind, because you know that at the end of the day you have to go back and track that habit. You can even carry a notebook on yourself and do the tracking throughout the journey, throughout the day. Tracking is a simple exercise. It works because it brings moment to moment awareness to the actions you take in the area of your life you want to improve. Number 3 is to find your why power. Willpower does not last, and why power is something that involves your emotions, your heart and soul into the work that you are doing. So it's extremely important, because the willpower may come at a certain time and it may last for a few days, but it cannot go beyond that. But in order for you to keep changing and to keep moving forward and to keep having that motivation, it's extremely important that you find why you are doing what you are doing. What is the reason behind it? For example, for me, tracking my finances is extremely important for me to get aware of where I'm spending my money. So I will quote from the book, "Forget about willpower, it's time for why power. Your choices are only meaningful when you connect them to your desires and dreams. The wisest and most motivating choices are the ones aligned with that which you identify as your purpose, your core self, and your highest values." And so at the same time, in that same section, he says that your motivation may come from a negative experience. It doesn't absolutely have to be a positive reason. In fact, that is even preferred when it comes from a negative experience and you have an enemy to fight. That power, that energy is even stronger than the one that you would have had for a positive cause. You don't have to be motivated for great humanitarian reasons. What matters is that you feel fully motivated. Sometimes that motivation can help you use a powerfully negative emotion or experience to create an even more powerful and successful end. And let's move on to the number 4, which is set goals the right way. What I learned from this book was quite impressive in terms of how your goal setting is going to bring into your life the things that you have in your mind. So it is not about just setting your goals for once and writing them on a paper, but it is about thinking about them constantly, having them, keeping them in your mind, so that the external world is aligned with what you have in your inside world. So in the words of the author, when you define your goals, you give your brain something new to look for and focus on. It's as if you are giving your mind a new set of eyes through which to see all the people, circumstances, conversations, resources, ideas, and creativity surrounding you. With this new perspective and inner itinerary, your mind proceeds to match up on the outside what you want most on the inside, your goal. And that's how apparently the law of attraction works. I have not really worked that much with the law of attraction, but I do feel that when I set goals and I know what direction I'm going into, I meet people who are more aligned with that kind of objectives, and that really helps in staying motivated in the direction of your goals. Number 5 is to break bad habits and implement good ones. There are many different strategies that are given in the book about breaking bad habits and implementing good ones. I will just give you 3 of them. Number 1 is your triggers. Identify your triggers. What are the triggers? What are the situations in which you feel most demotivated? Number 2 is to find a replacement. In order to start to change a habit that you have had for a very long time, for 20, 30, 40 years, it is important to first start by finding something else that you can replace that thing with, that habit with. For example, if you are used to drinking a lot of soda water, like soda drinks, you want to get rid of that habit because that's too much sugar, you should replace that, for example, by simply sparkling water, and then see if you can even reduce that. So it is always important to find. Another example that I have in my mind is about sugar. I used to I have a sweet tooth and I really enjoy everything that is sweet, but in order to reduce that, I started eating more of dry fruits, and instead of completely stopping that, and until now of course I do eat, but it's mostly dry fruits. I do not eat desserts. I prefer avoiding everything that is sugar or unhealthy sugar, and that has really helped me to reduce the amount of sugar that I used to take in the past. And here are 3 habits, 3 ways to implement good habits, which is of course very important as well. And number one is to think addition and not subtraction. If you are getting more fit in your life, instead of thinking that you are no more watching TV for these number of hours, or you are no more staying in bed longer, or things like that, think about the things that you have added into your life, the workout, the gym, the things, the people that you meet there. Or for example, instead of thinking about all the foods that you have taken out of your daily diet, think about the foods that you have added to your diet, or the colorful vegetables or fruits or everything healthy, or protein shakes and all of that. So think about that instead of thinking about things that you have reduced from your diet. Number two is to have a success buddy. If there is someone who can hold you accountable, someone who can be truthful with you, who can be honest with you, who can tell you when you are derailing from your progress journey, that can really work for some people. I personally, I do have a few accountability partners, but I personally really like to be accountable towards myself and not be entirely dependent on someone else. But that really works for some people. So if you are that kind of person and you can find a person who is, these days you can find people either online, you can find in your own surroundings, in your own circle of friends. If you can manage to find such people, that can be very helpful as well. And the last thing that was also suggested in the book, and even though that's not my kind of thing, it is to go for PDA, public display of accountability. Now that means announcing on Twitter or on Facebook that you are going to take up a certain kind of habit. There are people who do that and it works extremely well for them. I have a friend who recently announced in the beginning of January that she wasn't going to eat sugar for an entire of like 30 days. I have to check up on her. But if this is something that can work for you, go ahead for it, because the pressure of the other people then asking you about it is maybe going to make you feel more accountable towards others and yourself, and that may also help you in implementing good habits. So let's quote from the book. Eliminating a bad habit means removing something from your routine. Installing a new, more productive habit requires an entirely different skill set. You're planting the tree, watering it, fertilizing it, and making sure it's properly rooted. Doing so takes effort, time, and practice. So it's not an overnight thing, and be patient with yourself. Number 6 is to watch your influences. You alone are responsible for the choices you make and the actions you take. That said, you must also realize your choices, behaviors, and habits are influenced by very powerful external forces. Most of us aren't aware of the subtle control these forces have on our lives. For you to sustain a positive trajectory toward your goals, you will need to understand and govern these influences. This is to ensure they support rather than derail your journey towards success. In terms of influences, it is the people that you have in your life, but in today's era, it is also all the media that you have around yourself, which is everywhere. Social media, news, and all the other informations that you are bombarded with all the time. Be extremely mindful and careful about what you allow into your mind, into your life, because every single thing has an impact on your mind. Be careful, because everything, the news, or whatever you hear in the news, their objective is to attract your attention and then to retain it for the longest time. But it's only up to you. Only you can decide what kind of clear water you are going to allow into your mind. So it's up to you to decide what kind of media you are going to allow into your own life. So in the words of Darren Hardy, go on a media diet, which means that you only allow whatever is positive into your life. And also coming from social media, Instagram, Facebook, there are so many things that you don't need in your life, but you do simply because that is part of today's life. So be very watchful of that. And on the other side, be extremely careful of the influences and the people that you have in your life. This is something that I learned from this book as well. Like, you have different kinds of people in your life. There are people that you need to entirely dissociate with. That is the number one type of people. Dissociation means, of course, these are the people who are negative, who are only influencing you in a very negative way. So instead of staying with them, it's important to cut off. It can be a hard thing to do, because it can be close family members, it can be close people, but or it can be people that you have been in touch with for a very long time. But if you want to make progress in your own journey, it is up to you to decide which direction do you want to take and how is that going to impact you. And then there are the type of people that you can have limited associations with. These are the people that you can talk to for 3 minutes but not for 3 hours, or you can talk to them for 3 hours but not for 3 days. So in this area also, it's important for you to analyze that, identify those people, and be courageous enough to say no or stop when you don't want to continue interacting. And the last type of people are the ones that you are going to keep extended associations with, and these are the people that are very positive and that can mentor you and make you and help you make progress in your own life. And these do not necessarily have to be in your own life, but even by listening to books, you can be mentored by all kinds of people, listening to books and podcasts and all those different kind of possibilities that we have today. So yes, these and I personally feel that having such people makes an entire big shift into your life. So as the saying goes, you are defined by the 5 people that are closest to you. And so make sure that these 5 people are positive, forward focused and motivated people. And the last tip for this video is to accelerate success. Now, how to accelerate success? That is also something that I learned from this book. I had heard about it in the past, to go beyond the maximum, a little bit beyond the maximum. I had heard about it in the context of fitness, of muscle building, that when you know that you are not able to do anymore, do 1, 2 or 3 more push-ups or whatever kind of exercise you are doing, because that is what is going to break the fiber and then replace the fiber and give you more strength for the next time. And in this book, I have learned that these are things that you can even do in your own life about all the different things that you have in your life. And in this context, the 3 tips that I have retained from this book is: beat the expectations that people have of you, do the unexpected, and do more than expected. So this can apply to all different contexts of your life. But for example, in a job interview, beat the expectations of the interviewers, go prepared and be ready for the job interview. Go prepared and provide more information than they expect of you. Show more motivation and enthusiasm than they are expecting of you. And that is how you can go the little extra mile and then get much better results than the one that are expected. When conditions are great, things are easy, there aren't any distractions, no one is interrupting, temptations aren't luring, and nothing is disturbing your stride. It's not until situations are difficult, when problems come up and temptation is great, that you get to prove your worthiness for progress. And I will end this video on this note that says, giving a little more time, energy or thought to your efforts won't only improve your results, it will multiply them. It takes very little extra to be extraordinary. So for me, this book has been extremely enlightening, and the lessons that I have learned in this book, I will apply more and more into my life, and especially the one related to the relationships. I think it's extremely important. I have never been able to sort the relationships in the right kind of categories, but the fact of learning it from this book has really given me perspective, and hopefully I will be able to apply it more in my life. And I hope that these tips are going to help you to ace your success and jumpstart, like it says, jumpstart your income, your life and your success. All the very best to you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.